Yeah, hi there, it's Chris here. So in this video, I'm going to be showing us how to implement some things with WAZUH SIEM tool. And this is a continuation video from my installation video I already made a video to show us how to install WAZUH and how to add agents to it. So I've got one agent currently here. So I'm going to be showing us how to set rules for file integrity management and how to do active response and vulnerability management as well. So I'm just going to be going into my agent, which is Windows 10. So I'm going to look for my virtual machine here. That's my virtual machine. So in order to set rule for file integrity management, monitoring. So I'm just gonna go to the WAZUH folder actually, which is in the C drive. I'm gonna look for it. I'll go to the program files there. Then I'll look for the OSEC-agents here. So I need to look for a file, I think osec.conf here. So I need to open it with a notepad. I right click. I open with. So I want to uncheck this because I don't want to always open it with a notepad, or else I think it's going to change the file to a permanent notepad. So I'm going to say OK. So I want to look for file integrity monitoring here. So we're going to insert a line of XML code there. So that's what we are looking for, file integrity monitoring. So the file integrity monitoring is going to alert us. We're gonna get an alert if there is any changes in the filing system of this endpoint, basically of this agent. So this is where we're actually looking here. We're gonna insert a line here. So what we need to do, I'm gonna align myself with this. First, then I need to do that, the left side. As a less than side, and I'm gonna type directories as well. Directories. And then I need to do space real time. Then I need to do equals, equal sign, equal, then quotation, yes, another quote, then report, then underscore to report changes. Yeah, report changes, and then equal yes as well, equal sign, and then quote, yes, and quote again. Close that, and then we say to check all, check underscore all, equal sign, then quotation, then yes, and quote again, put that in quotes, and then the greater than sign. Yeah, so that is closed. Yeah, so and then we're gonna name the drive now and the user. So we're gonna say C:\\, that's the C drive, and then users. And we're gonna give the username here. So the user, I think the user is called the great. To be sure about the user, I'm just gonna go to my CMD and I'm gonna type the command who am I, one word, and yeah, the username is the great. So I'm gonna minimize this and put the username there. So underscore users the great, and then I'm gonna say \, again, and then desktop. Let me use these as capital D, but it doesn't matter anyway. Desktop. and then the less than sign, and then / and then directories. So then we close that again. So that should be that. I'm just gonna verify that. So I've got the syntax here. I'm just gonna compare it with what I have here. So report changes. Report changes, yes. Because the one little mistake here is not gonna work. Okay, this is saying check all. Basically, okay, the check all is not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be there. So I'm just gonna, okay, directories, check all. Okay, I'm gonna leave it as is. Here's real time, yes. So I think this should be the correct syntax that we need there, but I'm gonna leave it as is, and then we're just gonna test it as it is. Yeah, report changes, yes. Check all, yes. Create directories. So I'm gonna save it. I'm just gonna save, and then yes. So we're gonna restart the WAZUH service. We're gonna launch the Windows PowerShell as an administrator. So we're gonna run it as an administrator. Yeah, we're gonna say yes, and then I'm gonna say restart service. Push name WAZUH. So to verify, because sometimes the service stops, so I'm just gonna open the task manager and make sure it's running. Go to services, just type W, scroll there, looking for WAZUH. Okay, it stopped, so it's supposed to be running. Basically, I'm gonna right click and say start. Yes, there is a problem with that. I think the code we've inserted there is not working properly, so I'm gonna change that code and put what I've got on the notepad and see. So I need to go to the C drive, go there. So OSEC agent, I need to go back here, osec.conf, right click, open with, and check that, notepad. Okay, so we need to go to the file integrity monitoring and remove that line of code. So file integrity monitoring, we look for that bit and remove it. So that's what we need to remove. So then I go back here, I'm gonna copy this and see if the service will start. Copy it, paste that there. So directories, check all, report changes, because equal yes, real time yes, see the rate yes. So I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna see if the service will start. Because from experience, I've seen that sometimes that stops the service. It doesn't start, and then so the service has started running again. So it's very important to always check this service when we make changes to the configuration folder there. So that was the issue basically. So this is the correct line that I'm supposed to put there basically for this. So I'm gonna minimize that. So that's what we're supposed to type there, and that's the username basically. So we're gonna minimize this. So our WAZUH service is back up running again. It was stopped before, we couldn't restart it. So after changing that, we were able to restart it. So I'm gonna create a folder, then I'll go to the WAZUH manager. I'm gonna restart that as well. So that's the command to restart that. So we just wait for that, because I've used PuTTY to SSH to the WAZUH server basically in order to manage it to the WAZUH manager. So I'm gonna minimize that, and then I'm gonna go to our dashboard, to our WAZUH dashboard. Let's look at events, although we've not created the folder yet. We just want to look at security events here. Okay, so WAZUH agent restarted. So, and the time was 12:08. So this 12:10. So we're gonna minimize this. I'll just go to my agent. So all I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna create a folder, a new folder. So I'm gonna name it WAZUH tests underscore test, or let's say testing. So nothing is gonna happen now. If we go there, I can restart the service. So nothing is gonna happen because we just created it. So stop in here, it should start again, should back to running. So we are waiting for this to restart. Sometimes PowerShell does this, he stopped, so it should restart. Okay, so I'm gonna restart it again. Okay, so now it's running again. So whenever we restart, it's always good to look at the task manager and keep an eye on this and make sure it's running, or else whatever changes we make will not take effect. So I'm just gonna go into here. So if we check now, we're not gonna get any alerts here for any event because we just created a folder. So the hash value of the folder is just gonna be the same, but by the time we put a file inside it, the hash value will change. So it's gonna trigger an event here. So yeah, we're just gonna go back here now and create a file inside that folder. So that's the folder that is open now. I'm gonna right click and say it's new. I'm gonna create a text document inside it. I'm gonna name it, I can just say sample, basically sample text. So by the time I close this now, we should have an alert there because the hash value of this folder has changed. So we're gonna see that here. in our WAZUH dashboard, we just go. If not, we're gonna restart the agent. Okay, so we can see now that's the alert that we've got now. File added to the system. So, and the time was just 12:13, and this 12:13 as well, 00:13 a.m. and we can look at this event and we're gonna see exactly who added it and the name of the file. So we can see that's what I named it. I named the folder WAZUH testing, WAZUH_testing, and I named the file, the text file, sample text. So, and because it's a text file, you've got a .txt extension there, and it's gonna, yeah, so it's got the file, the absolute path, the direct path to the file. It says it's in the C drive created by the user, the grade on the desktop. Then that's the name of the folder and that's the name of the file. So that's good. So that's working well. So to change that again, I repeat, that's a line of code that you need to use, and when you just get here, you just change it to the user, the current user you've got. You go to your command prompts, you type who am I, and then you're gonna get the name of the user, then you type that here, you replace that with that. So this is the actual correct XML code that you're gonna use there. So I'm gonna minimize this, and then what we're gonna do now is we just want to check failed login events. So we're gonna go here and we're gonna, okay, we've got 22 authentication failures, so let's look at those events. I think those were the things I was testing before. Okay, so we're gonna leave this as it is. So we're gonna go here now to WAZUH. Yeah, so what we're gonna do, real life, we're gonna get this alert. So we're gonna right click, we're gonna log off, and then we're gonna try to sign back in. Yeah, we're gonna sign out, and then when we want to sign back in, we're gonna use a wrong password, and we're gonna see if that's gonna pick it up. So let's say, so that's incorrect password. So we're just gonna go back to our WAZUH dashboard and see if that's we're gonna get a log from that. So that's 12:16. The time is 12:16 now. So we can see that logon failure, unknown user, bad password. So when we go there, we're gonna see the details of the failed login attempt. So we can see it's from our agent, and then the user is called the great. So that's the event basically. Yeah, so yeah, agent ID 002. So what we're gonna do now is to set a rule for active response. So we're gonna try something quickly. We go back here now, we log in normally with our password, with the correct password. So yes, we are in now. So we go back to our WAZUH dashboard. Let me just make sure this is ongoing. Okay, we go back to our WAZUH dashboard. Let's see if this event was registered as well. Okay, so because it's not really a failure attempt, I think he's not registered it, but we can check from the authentication success. Maybe he's gonna be here. I'm gonna refresh this. So let's see if it's gonna be recorded there. So Windows login success, yeah, 0, that's 12/17, and that was this 12/18 now. So, and this today's date, April 6th. So yeah, that's our login, yeah, and that's the IP address and the name of the agent, yeah. So we good. So we're gonna try to simulate like a brute force attack, you know. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go to the CMD here. I was simulating it already before, so I'm just gonna, it's just to try to log in with SSH. So I'm just gonna type it here. I'm gonna say SSH, then dash login at, I'm gonna formulate any name, let's say Mr. Fisherman. Then the IP address of our WAZUH server, 221. So it's gonna ask me for the password, then I'm gonna type anything there. Again, yeah, I'm gonna type anything again. So this should be logged. I'm gonna go there. Okay, we want to go to security events, and we can see 2 authentication failure already. So let's see if it's gonna pick it up as SSHD. So it's supposed to be SSH here. The event just occurred, so it's supposed to show up there as SSHD. So I'm gonna refresh this, the browser page. Go to, yeah, okay, for login attempts, yeah, so that's the one, SSHD connection reset. So because sometimes when you click refresh here, it doesn't come on, then you need to refresh the browser itself. So this is what we attempted. It was 3 times. So if I check, and when you see the time is 12:20 a.m. and this 12:21 a.m. So one of them, he says, and we use the username at Mr. Fisherman, so we can see Mr. Fisherman. So we can see the logs here, the full log. It's a failed password for invalid user at Mr. Fisherman, and that's the IP address of the endpoint I was using. So we're gonna set an active response for firewall to block it. So we need, in order to do that, we're gonna go here, we go here, and then we say management, we say configuration. So we're gonna edit the configuration here. So we can click in and type Ctrl F to bring up the search bar, and then we want to type active, ACTIVE. So we can see now active response. So we scroll down, we're gonna scroll down until we get to this bit. So we're just gonna click on that, press enter, and then it's a bit of a long command, so we're just gonna insert those code here. We're gonna type active response, active response. Okay, I think this needs to have, yeah, needs to have dash then response. So we close that. So that is going to the bottom basically, yeah. So, and then we're gonna type the command. We'll say less than sign, then command. we close that. So that's gonna be there. So it's gonna be firewall drop, firewall, then dash drop. So we move to the next line, we move on to the next line. So that will be the less than sign, then location, we close that. So that will be local hosts, or we can say local. I think local will work. So yeah, we can say local or local host. So then we go here, we say enter, then less than sign rules underscore ID, we close that. Rules ID, okay, we need to go back and fetch the rule ID. So what I'm just gonna do quickly, I'm gonna open that, the browser here again, https /10, we need the 211, the 221. So I'll just, instead of saving that and going there, so I need the rules ID for that event because we need to enter the rules ID there. So I'm gonna click on, okay, security events, and then we're gonna click on here, then events. So that's the SSHD one that we need, the non-existing user. So it's 55710, that's the rules ID, we need it for that place. So the rules ID is gonna be 5710. So and then afterwards I go down again, then the timeout, I'm gonna say the timeout, I'm gonna set it for 60 seconds. So you should block it for 60 seconds. So timeout, and I'll close this again. I say 60 seconds, that's 1 minute. So then that should be about that basically. Close that bit there, active response, yes. So if we save it, if there is any error, it's gonna tell us. It's gonna tell us that so that has been updated, that's fine. So we need to restart the WAZUH manager, say confirm. While we're waiting for that to restart, we'll go restart the agent as well, the WAZUH agent. So I'm just gonna, okay, because we logged out before, signed out before, I'm gonna PowerShell, run as administrator, and then let's say restart. Service national WAZUH. I'm just gonna bring up the task manager just to make sure the service is running. WAZUH. Okay, so our WAZUH service is running on the agent. So I can, what I'm gonna do now is to try to log in to brute force again with the same Mr. Fisherman. So I'm gonna do that. It's gonna request for the password. We should get an alert that is blocking it. So for 60 seconds now, it's not gonna present us with that thing to do the password again. So that's working actually. So because it's not gonna prompt us for 60 seconds. For 1 minute is not. So now it says connection timeout. So we'll need to, as we can see, we were only able to attempt it once, and it says connection timeout. So here we should see that firewall is blocking it, the connection. Here we restarted the manager already, so we go here to go and see what is happening. Okay, the 60-second rule is affecting us as well to establish connection with our WAZUH server. Okay, because that was a local thing that we're using, so it was from a local machine. So we see 2 authentication failures here. Let's see if it's that one, that the firewall has. If we see any firewall blocked rules, then it has worked. We should see that it's been blocked by firewall. So I'm going to refresh this browser again. Okay, 30 authentication failures now. Let's go to the event. So as we can see, this is what we did. This is the rules that we set. Host, okay, the host was blocked by firewall, and then it was unblocked after 30 seconds. So every time the host would try to, connect, it's gonna block it. So that's the active response rule that we just set, that we, created. And when we see, we're gonna see, okay, the page has been refreshed. We're gonna see the name of the host. That was the rules that we, active response rules that we just created. So attempt to log in, that's that same Mr. Fisherman. So we can see at Mr. Fisherman from the IP address and his SSHD. So that was the event, and then the user has been blocked by active response. So we can see that it's the same at Mr. Fisherman, invalid user. So, and he's saying here SSHD attempt to log in using a non-existent user. Authentication failure, that's the syslog. Authentication failed, invalid login, and then we can see that it was blocked. Firewall drop, active response. So that's the active response that we created. So that is done. So we're just gonna look at the vulnerability management. We're gonna turn that on. Basically, that's something simple. So we're gonna go here for the vulnerability management. We click on that. We'll say management, configuration again. So we're gonna edit configuration, and we just click here and we press Ctrl F to bring up the search bar. We say that's vulnerability VUL. Okay, vulnerability detector. So all we need to do is to say yes, this is no at the moment. We're just gonna type yes there. Yes. So we're gonna save that, and then it's gonna run full scan every 6 hours, and then it's gonna run scan on start as well when the agent starts. So we're gonna have to, what we'll do once we save this, I think we need to restart the agent, to reboot the agent. Actually, we'll restart the manager. Well, we're gonna see first the last time the vulnerability scan was done. So we're just waiting for the WAZUH manager to restart. Waiting. So that's done. So from here, we're just gonna click on vulnerabilities and see, okay, that was yesterday. The last scan was done yesterday, and he found no vulnerability. So I'm like, we're gonna restart our WAZUH agent to see if any scan has been done today. So we're just gonna restart. Let's make sure WAZUH is stopping. I just wanna make sure it's running. So we're waiting for our agent to restart. We're waiting for the service to start running again. So it stopped. Okay, we're waiting for PowerShell to come back up. For some reasons, PowerShell is not. Okay, so I'm gonna restart it manually. So it starts. Okay, so WAZUH agent service is running again. So for some reasons, PowerShell sometimes it doesn't restart it properly. So if you have that problems and you see this, you need to go to your task manager and go to services and search for WAZUH and make sure the service is running. So I'm just gonna go back to our dashboard and see if any scan. Today is April 6th, that was done yesterday. We're just gonna see if any vulnerability scan has been done today. So it says to select the agent. No, not yet. It's supposed to be a startup. So I'm gonna go back there again and I'm gonna go restart the PC. Okay, last partial scan was done today, 12:32, but it found no vulnerabilities. So we're gonna look at events. So there is nothing to display. So I think that's about that for this video. So see you in the next one and have a good night.